You'll remember that I talked about a odd jam where the cartridge case gets stuck up in here like this, and the hard jam to clear. It's because it rolled up on the ejector. It will not roll up on this ejector. I said to square it up, and I meant it. This is a squared up ejector. This is the part that hits the cartridge case right there. Now, I would make it straight up and down. Colt has made it, actually this is a paraord, has made it a slight angle. So the top front is a little further back than the bottom front. But I would reverse that. I make it straight up and down or rake back this way slightly. So it precludes any chance of it rolling up. If you make it too sharp, some people claim, and I have not seen this, that it'll dig into the case and hold it. I don't know if it will or not. I wouldn't make it a knife edge or like a spear, but being pretty square, I'm not afraid of it at all. And this may cause an occasional roll-up. You don't want that because it's a hard jam to clear. Now, to help prevent roll-ups, and this one has already been done, you can take and mill this down. And this looks attractive. This is the new style. It looks attractive. It's not too low. And it's about 400 and, they vary, but let's say between 440 and 470,000 from there to there. But on the inside, and I don't know if we can show that. Yes, we can, a little bit. You can see here the start of the bevel. This side is beveled. Now, on a standard one, the slide comes up kind of like this on the inside, and then you have the ejection port. That cartridge case tends to stick there. And you find some 45 automatic empties that have a wank in the mouth. The ejected, you got a wank there. That's because it hits the ejection port on the right side and forced out. Bent the case, but it got out. If you'll chamfer this and lower this to 460 or so and chamfer this angle, that cartridge case will still hit it, but it's on a bevel. So instead of trying to bend itself and get forward, it'll just kind of ride up and eject. It also helps guns that kick them in your face or down your shirt. Not 100%, but it does help. Well, I'm going to show you how to do something that you probably won't do very often, but you will occasionally. I'm going to take out the ejector. I'm not going to take it out. I'm going to show you how. It's held in by a pin, most often by a roll pin, but not always. Usually they're bigger than that one. And then if you look at the ejector, you'll see a slight gap right there between the ejector and the frame. Right there. Put a thin screwdriver blade in there and drive it in and lift that out. Now, word of caution, you take this out when you need to. I don't take them out when I blew them. This leg is long, this leg is short. And when you're prying it up with the screwdriver or something underneath here, and it comes up, some of them come out hard, some of them come out real easy. If you're not careful and pry it out equally, here and here, but you pry it and this end comes up higher, you'll break this shaft off. You may break it off before it even moves. Oh, crud. It's a bugger. They don't just come out. You can try to tap it and bang it, take a plastic hammer and hit it here and make it inertia pull it out. It probably is not going to come. So you drive the pin back in, you very carefully drill a small hole in it and tap it with about a number 2 screw. Then use one of the Brownell screws that are soft and screw it into it and see if you can pull it out.
Are you enjoying what you're learning? Then subscribe to the American Gunsmithing Institute's channel right now. Thanks.
If you can't, you gotta drill it out, and it ain't easy. So don't break it off. And I speak from experience. I know someone who broke one off. He hated it. Anyway, just a word of caution. I don't take them out unless I have to. I don't take them out for bluing. I take them out when they're defective, they're loose, or something and I'll do something about it. If it's broken, I don't care if I break it off or screw it up, except I want that pin out of that hole before I break it, or at least sticking up out of the hole before I break it off. Bugger. All right. I'm just going to put the little roll pin back in. Now, as a rule, as you've already been told many times, I'm sure, I tend to taper one end of roll pins so they go in easier. But this is so little, by the time I tapered it, I don't think there'll be a whole lot of roll pin left. Yeah. And you can see it shining up at you right there. Perfect. I couldn't have done it better myself. If you needed to make an ejector, I wouldn't care to do it. I would get a piece of steel and shape it, and I'd use mild steel, I think, but I'd shape it to this shape so it fit up here. Then I very carefully locate where the hole goes, and I drill a small hole in it, take a piece of steel to fit down the hole properly, put it in a small pit on the end of it, and put that inside the ejector. So I drill a small hole in the ejector, and this little pit on the pin itself will go in that hole. I would, if I could, drill clear through and then weld it in from the top. You'd probably weld it in from right there. The back one is the same thing, but you could make it a tight fit and just drive it in. It's probably okay. The back one doesn't do any holding. It just keeps it from rolling around when it's out of the gun. When it's in the gun, the ejector can't get very far. It's held by the slide. It's just when it's out that if it's loose, it'll wobble around. We don't want that. Also, when you get the new pin in or you put a new ejector in, you push it all the way down. I wrap surgical tubing around it so it won't get away from me. Then I come in with the drill from this side, so turning like that, trying to pull this piece down. If you come in from this side, the drill is trying to lift the ejector out, and when it drills the hole for the cross pin, it'll be a little too low, and this will stick up in the air, and it's ugly. So always drill from the right side, unless you have a left-hand drill. That'll pull this down, but I wrap surgical tubing around it. Then I come in here with my drill. I get a drill that's a good fit here, and then usually when I drill through this and I pull it out, the pin doesn't want to go in. I have to just open up the hole in this shaft or pin of the ejector a teeny bit so it'll clear. If you use a roll pin, just push it in, it'll go. But most of them don't, at least in the earlier guns, they don't have roll pins, they have solid steel pins.
Did you enjoy this sample? If you want to learn a lot more about this firearm, then click on the link to buy the complete Armors course from AGI, which includes instruction of design and function, along with disassembly and reassembly down to the last part, cleaning and lubrication. Hey, click now.